What's up, man? I'm back, and it's time to go through this deep dive for Dynasty. This is what everybody's been waiting on, including myself. And so I got to admit, like, I'm super excited. I've been pouring over the 17,000, 1,700. It's a long blog. I've been pouring over it. I've been watching other people break it down, and now I'm ready to break it down for you and to bring to you kind of what I think is like the most unique kind of factors of Dynasty and what you should how you should be thinking about college football 25. Because this is what's so interesting is back in the day there were people that used to play college football 25 and people that played Madden. They were separate. It was a separate fan base for separate games, just like kind of how football is in real life. There's some people that watch the NFL, some people who love college football. But since college football has been going so long, all the Madden guys are coming over to college football 25. And it's so interesting. It's going to make for a lot of interesting dynasties and franchises as we kind of figure out what it looks like. And that's the thing, too. When we had college football 14, online competitive dynasties wasn't a thing. It was an offline game for the most part. You played online. It was more so like play now. It wasn't where you do like a connected franchise. I remember being in college. Me and my homeboys had Dynasty all the time. And what would happen is I would go to his room and we would play on his system, or he would come to my room. We would do it on my system. And that's kind of how we did it. But this, so the online community is just different. It's a whole different world for this game. So we're going to hop into the deep dive video first. It's 6 minutes. But then we're going to spend the majority of this time going through the blog, and I'm going to point out some things that I haven't really seen anybody say that I think is vital to kind of this game and how it's going to go. So let me get this present. Let's get this share screen up. Yeah. Deep dive. Let's do it. So we got it up. We got to go full screen. Let's jump into it.
Here with EA Sports College Football 25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty.
Oh, I wanted to pause. Hold on. I just want to take a pause here. Let's see.
Deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode.
All right. So look, this is the Dynasty screen or the home screen for college football. It's super clean. I love that, like, it has the Trojan theme. So, like, I'm a KU fan, so I'll have the KU as my favorite team and everything. That's super dope. Everything's right there. You got your Play Now, Ultimate Team, Road to College Football Playoff. But they haven't done a deep dive for that yet. I'm still super interested to see how that mode is going to work. And then you have your Dynasty. What I don't see on this screen is Road to Glory, which maybe is based on like what you play, but I just did notice that right now while I was looking at it. All right, let's keep rolling.
Mode Dynasty. Online Dynasty in College Football 25 can accommodate up to 32 teams, and you can.
All right, so when you pick your team, you see you can flip through. You can go through conferences to pick your team. Right? There's different. It looks like it's different ways that you can sort, which is good because it's 100+ teams. You got to be able to sort to pick one.
Play with friends.
I love this too. It shows you the stars. So I'm in 4 franchises already for college football, and I'm in one of them where you got to start with a two-star. I think you got to start with a 2-star school, so everybody's building. And other ones like where it's like they playing for bread. And so everybody's picking the best team. So it's going to be interesting because it's so many more teams, right? And so it's so much more possible for you to have 32 good teams in a college football franchise than like in Madden. Like in Madden, somebody has to get the Cardinals. Somebody has to get the Raiders, or somebody has to get the Broncos or the Saints. But in college football, I mean, you could spread the talent out because even outside, it's 25 teams that are ranked, right? It's 7 other teams that are right on the cusp of being ranked. Now, Georgia and Bama, right, Michigan, maybe Florida State are still probably better. Texas, probably better than some of those teams in the 30s, but it's not as big of a difference. And because of recruiting and stuff that we'll jump into, it doesn't stay a big difference, right? Like you can't keep – that's the thing about Madden is like you can keep people for their entire career. You can't do that in NCAA and college, EA Sports College Football.
Friends for up to 30 seasons. Today, we'll take a closer look at the new 12-team college football playoff,
That's
recruiting,
cool.
the transfer
We'll get into
portal,
that. I
and
got
a
to
ton
pause
of
because we'll get to the
customization
blog.
options
I'll
to
spend
make
time
your
on the
program unique.
snapshots.
College
Those
football
jerseys are
has
fire.
seen
Hey, UTEP, I might do a UTEP franchise just because of those jerseys. Them orange jerseys were fire.
seismic changes over the past
You got
few
the 12
years.
teams playoff.
And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff.
So here's the thing. Here's the 12-team playoff. And this is what I'm talking about when we're integrating all these Madden folks into college football playoffs. Madden franchises, they do not like playing against the computer because guys are so able to easily cheese the computer. And so, like, I was in a franchise, I saw a guy go for like 400 yards in a game with one receiver. But in college football, the college football playoff works so much differently because it's 134 teams. And so even if you have 32 user teams, how do you make sure that no computer team is ranked high enough to make the playoffs? That's what I'm going to be interested in, how you can control that. I wonder if you can make it so that the 12 best user teams make the playoffs. I wonder how that works because that's going to affect recruiting, right? If computer teams aren't able to like make the playoffs or win their conferences or play in high-level bowl games, that's going to affect their star level as far as recruits going to computer teams, which is important as we battle for recruits. We're battling with users and all these CPU teams. So how do we maintain that balance over the longevity of the franchise if we make it so no computer teams can ever win a national championship? Even though I think by the time we have the game 2-3 months, people probably won't be losing their computer. They might, dog. This is the thing. When I was college football 14, the computer was hard. Like when you played on Heisman, you could lose to the computer for sure, especially if your team wasn't as good as the other team. And so I'm interested in if they thought through that, because college football was an offline, even like college football revamped. NCAA revamped. I've been watching a lot more of those videos as I get ready for college football 25 to come out. And a lot of stuff they do is offline. It was an offline gaming experience. And so as we pull this online, how do we make it so that 12 users make this playoff? I don't know if they thought about that or not, but that's
and you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy.
What teams was playing that celebration?
Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. And in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your dynasty roster has never...
Let's pause here. So we have what star recruit they are. We have a board prospect list, so you can add prospects to your recruiting board. You got the transfer portal. You have your school. You have top classes, so you can see. You can keep track. This gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun, like in a connected franchise when you like 32 users to see who has the best recruiting class so far. That's gonna be super dope. These are the actions you can do: schedule a visit, offer a scholarship. You can see they already offered. They can't offer a scholarship yet. It looks like with this guy, you can search his social media, DM, contact, or send a house. You got soft sell, hard sell. Over here, you got the 14 different things, and then as we go through the blog, I'll kind of go over those a little more. But this screen is super clean. I love, like, you got your team up top. I'm really enjoying. So you got 35 scholarships, and they have 600 hours. I don't know if that's per week or what. And you can see they offer 21 out of 35 scholarships. Let's keep rolling.
Never been more important.
Because the blog is a lot.
Evaluate your needs and opportunities.
This is a cool screen, and I'll go over some more, but being able to see what you have, what it's rated, and what year they are and all that, that's super, super nice. And it helps being able to see it all in one place.
For talent upgrades at the start of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks.
Yeah.
So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits.
So you got 3,500 high school recruits. That is ginormous recruiting classes, which if it's 130, I think it's 137. Don't call me on that. It's like 130 something teams. That's a lot of guys.
Recruits are generated from all over the country, with certain regions representing real-world hotspots for blue-chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta.
So it's not just Florida.
Do research to find recruits that best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land. A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 interest in your and determine who you can realistically.
Let's see. So you can't see his attributes or abilities. You ain't unlocked them yet, right? I don't know what that INT number 2 is. Maybe that's interest. I don't know what that is. But this is a 5-star write-in from New Jersey. This is Penn State. So you see this, it's a pipeline. He's a pipeline recruit, right? I don't know what level that is, but that is a pipeline indicator. You see his tendency, which is important. You see his ranking. He's a number 2 ranked write-in in the country, number 1 in the state, number 8 recruit in the country. So, and you can see where he is. So this is a progression. This doesn't tell you where you are. This tells you where he is in making his decision. And so when you're recruiting him, you want to be in the top 8 when he gets there. You got to be in the top 5 when he gets there. And then ultimately, you got to be in the top 3 to have a chance at getting him to come to your school. I don't think you can offer a scholarship unless you end up in someone's top 3.
Land.
And this is a cool screen because it shows you how scouted he is, right? And then it also shows you kind of what he does well. He's fast as heck, and you get to see some of his abilities. So this is super important. No, I'll wait to go to the block. Let's get to the block, man. Let's get to the block. I'm going to let this run. I ain't going to stop it.
A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent.
That's how you get it for like people's top 3 and stuff. It's like
some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out.
Yeah, they had that in 14 where you could get locked out.
Deal breakers also drive a player's decision to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last chance to convince your favorites to stay.
Yeah, so
track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools. Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then set up.
I'll just stop. I know I'm telling him to stop it no more. All right, you're right. You
Cool
got to be a man of your
when
word.
The timing is right.
That's dope.
It's crucial to remain in their top 10. Then 8, then 5 to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal.
Yeah.
If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor.
Cool. I like
Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time.
I think the complimentary visit is
crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the off-season to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting.
3-4 stars.
Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home.
I haven't seen it. I didn't see it.
Conference realignment is a hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences and EA Sports College Football 25, Dynasty is yours to control. See what a 20-team super conference might look like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules, set up divisions and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your dynasty without talking about your starting job.
You're right.
Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach. Or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start.
Motivated recruiter.
Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into. Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities. Or if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set. The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach's journey.
It's going to be interesting.
Whether you're the head man at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere, or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think about how you want to build your staff, whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff. Choose wisely. The decisions you make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day
the deep dive was cool, but this is let me get to the screen because this is the video was cool. I thought they did a good job presenting on it. Well, let's get to this. Let's get to the blog, bro. Yeah. All right, let's get to it because this is where we're making our money. Okay, so you got three things with Dynasty: build your coach, build your program, deliver to a world. That's their three kind of points. That's their three pillars. That's what it says. They three pillars. Okay. I'll read the build your coach because that's where we start. All right. It comes to decisions you make on your coaching journey to the top of the college football world. Whether that's starting as a coordinator at a small school and making a name for yourself before getting that first head coaching job, or starting as a head coach at your dream school. So I like to give you that option. Some people just want to load up and they want to be the coach of Georgia. You're lame, and I don't know why you bought the game, but some people want to do that. And so you're allowed to do that, okay? Build your program. You got to learn how to recruit, all right? And you got to retain. So it's recruitment and retention. Both are vital to your program building, right? And so let's see. This screen, this is just like a loading screen for Dynasty, right? So you got who you play that week. You got some top stories, and you got recruiting here. You got coach, team, stats and awards, and the Dynasty Central, right? Coach Reason is not just another game against rival Colorado. So that's cool. Because remember, old boy was talking all that stuff last year to Colorado. Y'all remember that? The Colorado State coach was talking crazy. So let's go build your coach. So this is what's so cool. So even in Madden, right? You know exactly what kind of coach you want, what skill tree you want them to have, and that's like the best skill tree. You want the skill tree that gives your receiver speed, give your DB speed, give your linebacker speed. You hire those OCDCs every franchise, you get them, you unlock them, and you just said, and that's what it is. They don't really, it's no kind of thought process to it. There's no what's the word I want to look for? Nuance. There's no nuance to it. Everybody wants to do the same thing because that's the best thing to do. Well, they went out to make sure that wasn't possible when we talk about building coaches in online in NCAA Dynasty. And so what they really did is they said nobody can max out their coach no matter what you pick. And so the three categories are motivator, recruiter, and tactician. Motivator, recruiter, tactician. Okay. And so, and no coach could be great at everything, right? And there's no single way to be a great coach because NCAA 14, I believe, and I'm rusty on that, but I believe there was a coaching style that was better than all the other ones. I think it was probably like recruiting or something, and everybody would just do that. You would pick that one every time, and then you could or you would pick something else, and then you could reset it after every year, and then you could get all those points back and put it towards something else to be the best of something else for the next year. This is way different. I love this line here. The rock, paper, scissors relationship between coach types with no dominant progression path. So like motivators aren't better than recruiters, aren't better than tacticians. They all have their bonuses. They all have their drawbacks, right? And so the thing is beautiful while you say, as you learn it and figure it out and discover what's best for who. Okay, so before I get into coach progression, hold on, I'm gonna pull this screen up from here. What's it at? Hold on, because I thought there was a nice screenshot, but it wasn't on here. It's not on here. All right, I'm gonna switch to share screens, and I'm just gonna talk real quick about this because I think it's interesting to think about. So just bear with me. All right. So these are the 3 ways you can go about it. Let's see if I can get it a little bit more. I got one where they all lit up. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you can pick motivator, recruiter, tactician. Motivator, it says, get your players to play their best by boosting their ratings and composure. Nobody has it better than us, all right? So that's in recruiter. Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. You scout faster and recruit better than any other type of coach. Scout faster is important, right? And in tactician, you boost your players' ratings on game day, scheme up the big plays, and let the visor fly. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. And y'all just walk through me with this, right? I feel like each one, man, I need some oil on my hair. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. All right. I feel like each one is going to have a unique benefit based on the program that you have it with, okay? So, hear me. So, what is what I'm thinking? Where we at? The program that you have it on. So, motivator. I feel like if you're at a small school, if you pick a small school, I feel like motivator is probably the best option. And hear me out. This is why. This is why I pick motivator over recruiter and tactician for smaller schools. I think it's already going to be hard for you to recruit 4 or 5 stars, right? So because of that, you want to target 2 and 3 stars, right? But you want to develop them so that at their senior year, they're playing like 4 and 5 stars. And so if you can get that kind of process where you can keep guys, they're not transferring out for lack of playing time and stuff when they're younger, right? But you're developing guys to play as upperclassmen. That is a way you can compete with other schools without being able to get the top recruits. So I'm thinking like if you grab a school like, let's say UCF. Let's go UCF. It's in Florida. You compete with all the big Florida schools. They got ton of recruits in Florida. You're in Central Florida, right? So that's your pipeline. Best pipeline is probably Central Florida. And you get a whole bunch of the best 3 stars from Florida, but you develop them. And by their junior year, sophomore year, they're playing like 4 and 5 star. You could win a Big 12 championship doing that, right? Without being able to get a whole bunch of 5 stars, without needing a whole bunch of 4 stars. And UCF is a Power 5 conference, Power 5 school, was it Power 4 now? Power 4 school. So maybe that's not a good example. Maybe let me peel it back. UCF probably is even a little too good. Let's say, what if I'm going to Vandy? Vandy academics, low prestige. You play in the SEC, you ain't winning no games. But if I can get 2 and 3 stars who care about academics to come to Vandy and develop them into 4-star guys, now I can compete in the SEC. And now winning can help me recruit, right? I'm developing guys. Winning helps me recruit instead of my coaching being my coachability being recruiting, right? All right. So I think that's motivator. When I go to recruiter, I think recruiter is good for your Power 4 schools that aren't necessarily great. And so what I mean by that is like your K-States, your KUs, your Mississippi States, your University of Miami, like those schools where you have the facilities, you have the prestige, you just need the players. I think if you go recruiter, that would be perfect for that. Because if you get some guys into that team, you can compete right away. And so you might need 6, 7, 4 stars and 3, 4, 5 star, and now you can win a national championship. And so I think recruiter is really good for those type of teams. And then a tactician. I think tactician works for if you're gonna pick your Georgias Like Alabama's or like me, I'm in comp leagues and you playing, everybody's playing with Florida State, Miami, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia. Picking tactician might allow you to have that advantage on game days that gives you just that edge, that little bit of edge over kind of some similarly rated opponents. Okay, because you're gonna have pipelines that are great. You're gonna have prestige. You're gonna have the program. You're gonna have the pros. You're gonna have all the other things in place. You just gotta win games, and if you win games, you can maintain kind of your recruiting and your player development and all that. So that's what I'm thinking through these three. And mind you, I ain't played the game yet, so I haven't touched it to see how they actually affect it. But on first thought, when I saw them all, that's kind of how I broke it down, so it makes sense to me on which to choose when. All right. All right, let's jump back into the blog. All right. Hey, this will be a long video, so I hope y'all hanging out. You know what I'm saying? This blog is long as heck. All right, we're back on the blog. So, coach progression, right? These are the 4 ways that you can progress your coach. You get players drafted. That makes sense. Game goals, recruiting makes sense. Like sign a 5-star, that's dope. And then you have weekly goals, like you ranked in the top 10 or 4,000 passwords. All those things make sense. I think those things are cool. This is like a coaching picture. Oh, can I not zoom? I'm trying to zoom. There we go. So if you can see coaching picture, I probably need to stay this zoomed anyway. You can see how many times he did that goal, kind of his progress. He's level 36. He's going to 37. He's at Texas State, which is his alma mater. No, he's at Kentucky, but Texas State is his alma mater. That's interesting. I wonder what role that plays in anything. Because why do you need an alma mater? I wonder if your alma mater helps you get like a head coaching job there or something. Or if he started at Texas State. That's interesting. Like I said, I've looked at this blog like 10 times. It's always new stuff I catch. So when it gets higher rankings on there, it gives you 25 points. I think this is how many points you get. That's how many points you get per doing this, okay? So what's 100 points? A rival win is 100 points. A win is 100 points. You get 200 points if you beat a rival. 200 or 125 if you beat a higher rank. 175. So this would be cool. Say I'm Kentucky and I'm playing against I don't know if Kentucky got no rivals. Georgia, I guess, would Georgia be considered a rival of Kentucky? Say I'm playing against Kentucky. I'm Kentucky and I'm playing against Georgia and I beat them. I get 100 for the win. I get 100 for beating my rival, 25 for being a higher rank. So that's 300 right there. And then I wonder if you get all of that. That'd be 425 points. So that it could be easier to progress a coach at a lower school if you're able to stack those points like that, which would be dope. Okay. And so they show you in the game when you do a coach goal, it pops up. So you got first down, passing touchdown. You can see it, right? That's super dope. Okay. This is another screen showing you you're progressing. It just looks super clean, bro. I love that. You get recruiting update just after you advance, recruiting update, XP goals, school update. Oh, here's the archetypes. All right. So it's archetype system. All coaches start with a base class. So and that's coordinators and head coaches all have an archetype. You can become and I love this. So they say like you can be like elite at one thing, or you could be a hybrid who's good at multiple things, right? So like for me, I would want to be like a talent developer. That's someone who is great at recruiting and motivation. But someone might want to be a great recruiter and tactician. So I get the best players and I do the best on game day, right? So I think there's some nuance there. And I think that's what makes it so cool and so replayable, right? I just think they did a really good job on that. And remember, you're trying to get to program builder or CEO. You can only do those as a head coach, but those are the elite archetypes. You want one of those things. And they said it's a combination of on-field success and ability progression. And I love this sentence here, right here. Let's see. There is no single formula to reach these statuses. So there's not a single archetype that's going to get you there faster or anything like that. All right. There's 11 different archetypes, each with their own focuses and perks. And they said it's like a rock, paper, scissors. They said that in the video. Talent acquisition is the most important thing, but it's not only thing, right? And so there's like only focus on recruiting can leave you vulnerable in other areas. And I know guys are going to do this, especially early on. They're going to be a recruiter. They're going to get 2 coordinators that are great recruiters. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see their players aren't going to develop fast, which might not be, which this is the thing. This is why I love the depth they put into this coaching stuff. You think if you got 5 stars, they're going to be better than 3 stars. And it's yes and no. They're going to be better than 3 stars as freshmen. But if I'm an elite motivator and my 3 stars develop way faster than you are because you're just an elite recruiter with recruiting coordinators, right? When my 3-star freshmen are juniors, they could be higher rated than your 5-star recruits, right? And so I might have to do a good job at picking gems and making sure I get the right traits and all that from 3 stars. But down the line, I could have a different strategy that gets us to the same place, right? And so I love the way they did that. And they did have a screen. I just didn't scroll down far enough. But I already talked about that. Upgrading your archetype. You got different, all of them have different prerequisites and objectives that they got to complete, which I think is dope. Like it says, you want to become an elite recruiter, you got to spend 50 coach points in a recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. I think that's going to be hard, bro. I don't know, but that just sounds like that's going to be hard. Once these goals are completed, the archetype becomes available for purchase with coach points. When creating your coach, you select which base archetype. The other 2 archetypes are available for purchase. You don't have to meet. You can buy them with coach points. You got to do nothing else to get them. You get new abilities, new opportunities with each archetype. Each archetype has a perk when it is active. All right. For example, the tactician has a winner perk, which awards you get. If you have the tactician, when you win, you get more XP for winning than someone who doesn't. Active archetype is automatically determined. If you own Program Builder or CEO, they will always be your active archetype, regardless of how many coach points you spend in other archetypes, just because they're the best. Okay. Your active archetype is the one you spend the most points on, which makes sense. All own coach abilities are always on, which is nice, regardless of which. Oh, that's super dope. So if I pick a motivator, but there's an ability and recruiter I want, I can buy it and turn it on and still stay a motivator. I like that. This is the coach ability screen. This mug is fire, bro. So right now, so he's a CEO. He's an A+ prestige coach, level 30. We can see that. So you see they got his prestige right here. His levels right here, level 30. He is so CEO means he's like the top. He's a master motivator. So you see that here. So you gain XP whenever a player levels up. Culture setter who's stronger player development. Okay. But he also has his active perk is big game bonus. So additional XP for winning bowl games or a national title, which is right here. That's what he has right here. It's super dope. I don't know what this one is. This is the motivator. Oh, I think that's the program builder. So motivator. But look down here, you can see even though he's a motivator, right? He still has some points in this one and this one. So that's kind of cool. I'm trying to think. A coach's abilities increase if owned by more than one coach. So I'm guessing his is a master motivator, but his coordinators are right here, which I don't know what that one is. It doesn't tell me or anything. My guess is going to be that is I don't know, recruiter maybe. That might be a recruiter, and this is tactician. Yeah. So his coordinators might be master great at recruiting, but he's a motivator. Is what I'm thinking. So abilities, you buy them with coaching points. It's not a microtransaction. These are things you earn from playing. 50 coaches' abilities, 4 tiers. You buy to move up in a tier with coaches' points. And it's all by position group, which is really dope. So that means like you can't just be a great offensive coach, right? Like you a quarterback whisperer. Are you good in the trenches? Like how does your stat? I love that. So I'm thinking, because I was thinking about this too, is like as I build my if you develop because even if you pick motivator, we both pick motivator, but I'm doing a run heavy scheme. I'm going to put my running backs, my offensive line. If you're doing like a spread offense, you might pick quarterbacks and receivers. And so even though we're both motivators, we still can impact our teams in different ways, which is so fire. The depth in that is just like, creme de la creme, incredible. I absolutely love that, man. All right, so did they give us an example? This is the fast tempo offense. So if you're a scheme guru, that's like you have a specific scheme and you can run it better than other people. So fast tempo offense, these are the different tiers. So they get better, kind of like the player ability. Battery pack, you don't get as tired, right? Caught napping. Oh, now defenders look at the sideline. You can hike it, and they're not ready, which is kind of dope, and it might be a little cheesy. Number 3, composure boost. You run and hurry up, you get a first down, everybody get more composed. That's super dope, especially if you're on the road in a hostile environment playing with freshmen. That could be a really good ability that helps your players keep their composure. And in this one, OP, tipped your hand. I run hurry up, so that means I get to see your play. That's OP. Imagine you in a game against a sweat. He's in, what's it called, turbo, run hurry up every play, and he can see what defense you're in as you're trying to make adjustments on the fly. Hey, that's kind of an OP ability, yo. This one talk about like being on the road. And so you got discipline and communication ability. On offense, so you got hater blockers, so noise impact. Teflon, noise impact is lowered. Polish, no penalties or fewer penalties in a clean sheet. So it's not only not as much noise impact, but way less penalties, which I think is cool. I think you got to play this one on sim. Like I feel like this is a sim game. Like you got to for you to feel the depth of everything they've done. I feel like you got to play this on sim, bro. And I say that as somebody who really don't like sim. But they did say this because now you look at all those, bro, and you're like, bro, offense OP. And it's like, nope, we got balance. So if there's defensive counters to everything. So is your defense looking, well, that's funny to say sus. Your defense looking a little sus? Are you tired of getting punched in the mouth by a physical ground and pound game? Cool. Upgrade your ground and pound defense to become a stout run, you know what I'm saying, and reduce the effects of physical offense. So you can say, hey, man, I'm in the SEC, and they are Big Ten, and they run and run and run. I'm going to get this ground and pound defense so that I can stop the run better. That's super dope. Program and CEO, you can only get that as a head coach, right? Here's the recruiter. Oh, so that wasn't recruiter. Recruiter has a space. That's kind of cool. So I don't know what that blue one was. But here you can see he's a recruiter, but you see the different position groups, right? So that's running game. That helps you recruit running backs and fullbacks. So you can always be recruiting, right? You get more hours for running backs. Recruiting actually give a bonus to running backs. Running backs take less time to scout. So you can see him unlocking it. It's 5 points. He has 70. So he can max this out. Increase starting interest from running backs. Like, that's really dope. Like, if I'm a running back coach, you should want to come play for me because you're going to get 1,000 yards rushing, right? I play 4 or 5 running backs in this wishbone scheme. Come get some money out here. You feel me? Like, I think that's super dope. And the depth, this screen is clean. Remember, you got this. Sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. If you want to become an elite recruiter, you got to do that. So that's cool that it shows you all that. You can move these down. So I feel like, I wonder if these position groups work together. So I feel like this is like passing offense. This is rushing offense. This is passing defense and rushing defense, right? That's what I'm thinking. And so maybe this is special teams. And this is like DB, like corners, and maybe that's safeties. And this will be quarterbacks and receivers, maybe. Not sure, but I'm just guessing. I think that's the fun part. All right, this is where we're still talking about coaches, y'all. Like, this mug is amazing, y'all. Like, I'm trying to make sure I'm on time. All right, so coordinators increase your strength or they show up your deficiency. Remember, no coach can be great at everything, so you have to pick your coordinators with intentionality. Here's what's interesting, though. Coordinators stack. You can stack abilities, right? Abilities owned by coach have the greatest impact, but the impact of a coordinator-owned ability depends on whether or not the abilities. So you can offensive coordinators with defensive abilities. That's something you're going to have to look at. That's interesting. Yeah, he said like a defensive coordinator having the quarterback icy veins ability does nothing. or has a much smaller effect than an offensive coordinator owning it. I wonder if you can just hire different coordinators. You can hire coaches for whatever coordinator position you want. That must be that. It must not be DCs, OCs. You know what I'm saying? You must be coach, and you can pick them and say where you want to hire them. This is something that's interesting. They automatically progress. You don't purchase their abilities or anything, and so you can't respec them. So that's even more important with like how you wins matter, how you progress them matters, and how you manage it in coaching carousel. Because it might be you start only on as a recruiter, and so you need a motivator. But as you get better as a coach and you start to build out your motivation side, then you fire your motivator coordinator and you need a tactician now because you want some game day bonuses. Like, I think that's super cool as well. And this is like a really cool screen. So it says press R3 will overlay all three coaches' abilities. So if you see you got a blue one, a yellow one, and a red one here. And so you can kind of see if you guys are imbalanced, if you're all kind of going the same way, kind of what you're thinking, what's going on. You can see it here. I think that's a really cool screen. And I think it helps you kind of figure out, do you have what you need on your coaching staff, which is super, super important, right? So you can start as a coordinator and become a coach. I was worried about this, but if you're OC, you can still recruit. You can still play both games. That's like not an issue at all. Even if you're an OC. Give me one second. I gotta go get this. Dang, my charger. All right, I'm back. So you even if you're OC or DC, you can still control both sides of the ball and you can still recruit. So that's cool. These are the school expectations for contracts: win X number of games, win a conference championship, make the college football playoff, win a national trip. So those are the four concepts. So when you sign a contract, you have certain expectations, and those are set by your school's prestige and your program standard. So the better the school, the higher expectation. Of course, like if you at Georgia State, you're gonna have to win a different number of games to keep your contract than if you're at Georgia. That makes sense. I think they did a good job on that. Job security fluctuates throughout the season based on results of your game, and if you're trending towards meeting your contract expectations. The further you are, the bigger your job security gets hit. And this is cool. If you get on the hot seat, and if it gets too hot, you get fired and you go into the coaching carousel, right? But also, if you meet your goals, you get increased job security. And they did tell this for my guys who suck at coaching, you can turn it off where guys don't get fired. I'm in a league where they're going to let guys get fired, and I think it's great. I think it's going to be fun. Wins and losses aren't created equal. So, of course, beating the FCS team versus beating Alabama's will give you a different kind of impact on your contract. You get A+ to F on your coach prestige, and that's not based on your school prestige. Those are separate. So it's based on if you meet your contract expectations. And for example, meeting expectations and winning 5 games at a small school will have a significantly smaller impact than winning the SEC championship at a traditional powerhouse school. I don't know why they put that in there. That's common sense. At the end of your contract, you get offered an extension or not, which is interesting, right? I think that's super dope. Even if you accept the contract doesn't mean you're stuck. So at the end of the season, they have the coaching carousel. When you get in the coaching carousel, you can leave for a new job. So they offer you jobs based on kind of how you've done, which is really cool. Of course, there's a coaches tab where you see all this. And this is kind of cool. So this is when you sign your contract, you'll be able to. These are the last 20 years for this coach, Michael Mueller, who's a C-. Oh, no. This is for Oregon. So this is Oregon's record the last 20 years. He just got hired. He's a tactician level 1. So he's just starting his franchise, right? His goal is to win 9 games, right? And they have his result and his job security there, which 9 games seem low, right? Like if they 12, 10, 10, 12, 9 seems low. So that's interesting. I would think 10 would probably be the minimum to keep your job safe. But you can see here his job security. That's alma mater's there again. I think that's going to play a role in some kind of capacity. Yeah, so they try to mimic it like real life. Like just because you had a big school don't mean you can't go nowhere else. So that chaos exists. It's after during the conference championship week, the carousel kicks off. So that's when you can look at hiring coordinators or accepting a bigger position as a coach. So it tells you if when you advance, you can view your job offers. That's kind of cool. That's really dope though. Like you can see, like I'm thinking about doing if I do a UAB, right? And I'm killing a UAB, Alabama come like, hey bro, we want you to kind of come on over here. That's super dope, man. That's super cool. And they said it's like real life. So just because you don't got no offers the first week doesn't mean you won't have any more. Like I'm gonna do a coordinator, 2 coordinator franchise for sure. Like I'm gonna do one starting as an OC, one starting as a DC, and I'm gonna see like how that works, like getting a head coaching job. And I'm gonna do one where I try to like progress my coach and move up. So that's gonna be super cool to kind of see how all that works. And there's certain things that you do well that may align or may not align with their coach. So they might have a certain program scheme. They might have all of that that's kind of dope. So this is how schools determine who they hire. So it's based on level, scheme, archetype, pipeline, and prestige. So you got to have a certain prestige, like a 5-star program. It's not going to hire somebody who is mid, right? Well, that's why we saw that C-. We know he just started his dynasty because you can't get there if you're not that good, right? And so you have a primary pipeline. So they want to make sure that you can get the certain kids they used to recruit, you can get them to come to that school still. You have archetype, remember program builder and CEO are the 2 best. And then you got schemes at school and then level, of course. And I love how you can see that jobs might be coming open. Like, and it says, is it your alma mater? That's cool. That is cool. So it'll show you like these are the jobs that he's been offered. He's at Oregon State, but Memphis offered him Toledo. I don't know who that is. I don't know who these teams are. They offer that's Bowling Green. Who is that? Maybe Western Michigan. They all offered him jobs, right? You're looking at Memphis as a 2-star school. They show the top candidates, all of their archetypes, right? Show the previous head coach's archetype, and he didn't get fired. He left for a new job. And they said, oh, that's tight. At the bottom, it says this is a job downgrade. So if you take this job, this is worse than the job you have, which makes sense because he's at Oregon State. I think that's Oklahoma. Bad. He's at Oregon State already, right? So that makes sense. All right. You could fire your coordinators. That makes sense. You can hire coordinators. So you got to go through the coaching carousel. I'm going kind of fast now because I kind of spend a lot of time on coaching, but I think it makes sense. So let's just show this job screen so you can see, hey, my coach I need a defensive coordinator. Or this was offensive coordinator got. This is his grade. Do I want to upgrade him? And you can do that every offseason, which is nice, right? Now let's see what other screens they got. They got 3 screens here. And then you can see to go in there and try to hire a coordinator. You can see their scheme, their pipeline, which is important, right? And you can see if they have other schools that are interested in, which is nice. And then you can hire them, right? And then you can see I hired Danny White. This is his scheme. This is his pipeline. So they all have 3 different pipelines, which is an interesting way to do it because that means you got a little bit of ground in all these places instead of having a ton of ground at one pace. And you can see he hasn't accepted it yet. So that's kind of cool. All right. Roster management. So now we get into recruiting. All right. Let's see. 4 core goals when recruiting. Humanize recruits. They're unique, right? You got to discover each recruit, what they want, what they need. Regions, they matter. Florida kids, they're going to be out there. Texas kids going to be out there. Resources matter. Miami, I keep saying Miami, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama, they can recruit everywhere. UConn, you got the Northeast, bro. Ain't nobody come from California to play for you. So that makes sense. And the transfer portal, they spend a lot of time on it, really making it unpredictable, which is dope. So it's 3 stages of recruiting: discovery, pitch, and close are your 3 stages of recruiting. Okay, recruiting begins with discovery. So you try to figure out who you recruiting. You trying to get as much information as quickly as possible. That's why it's like that. When you're an elite recruiter, you get information faster. Will come in handy because during discovery you get more information about more players, right? And then you got to make it to their top 5. So when you get after discovery, recruits start announcing their pick that they're in the top 5. And what's cool is all recruits do this at different stages. So everybody's not just progressing at the same. Some kids are gonna be top 3 early because they want to be early signees. Some people are gonna wait till late. So you have to really monitor all your kids because the phases aren't based on you, it's based on the kids that you're recruiting. And then the last is the close. That's where you get to offer a scholarship and bring them on a visit. This is cool. You can get a verbal commitment, but if you don't stay with them or you drop down or you don't contact them, they can flip. So you can still lose recruits, primetime style if you're not hanging in there with them, right? So 14 different categories. These are school grades, and I'm talking about the ones that change, right, that are dynamic. Playing time changes depending on overalls and what players you have. So recruiting a freshman receiver and you got all senior receivers, they're going to want to come there because they know they got a chance to start and play. If they're freshmen and your best receiver is a sophomore, they might not want to come there, right? Playing style matters. I'll talk about some option. If you run a wishbone, a field general cornerback don't want to play in a wishbone, right? And so that matters. Championship contender, that's dynamic. The better your team is, right, the better this grade will be. You can't change program tradition. You can't change campus lifestyle. You can't change. Oh, this is cool. Stadium atmosphere can change because it's my toughest places to play, which changes every year based on how many games you win at home and those kind of things. Pro potential can change because if you put players in a pro, it's going to raise your pro potential. Brand exposure doesn't change. This is something that every school just has. Academic prestige does not change. This is something all schools have. Conference prestige can change because you can do conference realignment, but it's not based on your own school. Coach prestige, the better you get, the better that is. Coach stability change is nice because if you're new there, you might have low coach stability. But if you've been building a program for a while, you have high coach stability. So that's cool. The facilities are as is. I haven't seen anything where you can upgrade your stadium or anything. And then proximity to home, that's obvious, all right? So you can get the players' overalls compared to the team's roster. That's on my playing time. Actually, I like this one though because this has to do with transfers too. Because after you get them, these things are still important to them. So it says actions you take on a recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade of both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players and recruiting may negatively impact their playing time grade and cause them to enter the transfer portal. That is dope. If I got a sophomore running back, but then he sees I just signed a 5-star who's better than him, who's a freshman, he might be like, hey, I'm a transfer because I know I'm not going to play next year. So I really, 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 really like that. That's super dope. Brand exposure. It says school's brand. I don't think you can change that. Some of them upgrade throughout the season. Some of them upgrade after the season. All right, let's go. Let's see this screen right here. So you got Stanford, A+ academic prestige. They're not a championship contender. I think this is fans. It's pretty good. Good conference prestige. Academics. No, this is academics right there. This is balance. I don't know what balance is. Coach prestige is low. This is, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to guess all these. No, that's stadium environment right there. What's this? A-. Campus life is probably dope. A- on campus life. That's maybe that's NIL with the hats. No, what's NIL? What's gonna be NIL? No, that's gonna be. I don't know what these two are. I don't know. But then you can see how you compare, right? So Rice got an A+. These are all the best academic schools, right? So you can see all the best academic schools over here. So that's super dope. If you click it, it shows you what schools are ranked high on that. Let's see what this next one is. I knew that was championship contender. Dang, I want to see the other one. But it shows you where you're ranked. Stanford's 75th ranked in championship contender. Like, that ain't what people are going to get, right? But it tells you how you can get better, which is dope. Blue chip ratio, so you got to get some more 5-stars, and your media poll rank. You got to get some more. You got to move up the rank, right? So and it shows the players at risk. This really good left guard might be out of here if we're not going to play for championship. So that's super dope. I love that they did that. I love how that looks, right? You can see he got 700 hours, 26 scholarships offered out of 35. So you can see all that there. Okay. Here's another championship contender. I'm just rolling through these because I've been talking for a while. You can see championship contender C+, and this your best running back. He's about to be out there. Your two best running backs. They're like, bro, if we're not playing for championships, I'm not staying at Arizona State. And I love that that's on there and that you can do something about it though. They don't just leave. So if you win some more games, like you start 0-1, they're like, uh-oh. But if you win some more games, like they'll stay, right? So that's all in there. 0 to 5 each season, 3,500 recruits. We talked about that. And it's like regions are known for certain prospects, which is dope. Like Southern California is known. This is cool. I'm going to read this because this is dope. Southern California is known for producing great quarterback talent, while East Texas consistently produces some of the best wide receivers in the country. However, we didn't stop there. We wanted to go deeper to ensure we were capturing the authenticity of high school talent. Yes, East Texas is known for producing great receivers, but more specifically, they are known for how big and physical the receivers are. As a result, you're going to see bigger and more physical receivers coming out of East Texas, whereas South Florida is going to produce incredibly fast, deep threat receivers who have smaller size. That is fire depth, right? That's super dope depth. Like, come on, man. You can't get better than that. That is incredible depth, okay? 14 different motivations that they care about, right? We talked about the different ideal pitch. You get to build it. You get your pipeline. What I don't like about pipelines is all schools already have pipelines and you can't change them. But I'm interested about coach pipelines if you can change those. If you can build a pipeline based on how you recruit. I wonder if that would be interesting. They didn't say anything about that. You got initial interest in top schools. So it's right when you start recruiting, they'll show you who they're interested in and who their top schools are, right? For example, if you're Rice, you'll often see the recruits who are interested in your school are also interested in Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and Stanford because they're looking for academic prestige, right? Motivations, location, recruit. It's possible for them to be open to hear from any school or start in top 8, top 5. So some recruits are going to be 5-stars with a top 5, and if you ain't in it, it's over. You can't get to them, which I think is super dope because that's how some players are like, bro, I'm from Texas. I want to play in Texas, period. And I'm 5-star. If you ain't in Texas, I ain't even looking at going to your school. Oh, I'm a 5-star. I want to play for a champion. So I'm looking Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Florida State. And I don't know, Clemson. That's it. I ain't looking for nobody else. So that's kind of cool. Here you got different stars, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 4-star, 3-star. He got locked out here. So the tight end, you were 6. You didn't make it. He went to his top 5. You didn't make it. You see Dylan, you didn't make it. He didn't commit there. Losing a quarterback to Fresno State is trash. If you're Oregon, you can't lose quarterback to Fresno State. What are you doing? But it shows you where you're ranked. So that is interesting. That's what I thought. It shows you where you're ranked on their list, right? And where they are in their process. So that's really cool. Here you get Alex Casey, a 4-star from Vegas, run stopper. You made it. You beat out USC, Texas, and Tennessee and Florida State. So that's super dope. Prospect identification. I kind of talked about that. You can filter based on position, type, archetype, which is super dope. I love that you can sort by that. State, star rating, height, weight, handedness for quarterbacks. I want a lefty just for the fun of it. And interest in your school. So I love that you can just say who's interested in going here and build your list from that. This is the prospect list. You can see 5-stars all through here. I don't know how this is. I don't know how he's recommended. So you can say these players are recommended for you. Okay. You good on a deal breaker. You have an A+. He said you need at least a B-. Who was this? This outside linebacker from New Jersey. You don't really have a pipeline there. It looks like 3. It's like you kind of get players from there, but not sure because this is Michigan. Okay. Here's a player from Michigan here. Best pipeline you see is purple. You're second on his list, and he's open. Stage here, so they show you what stage they're in. This is a clean screen. It has a lot of information on it. But see, Michigan has 1,000 hours. So that's super interesting, right? Team needs. I love this screen. I was looking at this earlier. It shows you exactly what your rating is, what you need, what you have, and what year they are. So you might have four quarterbacks, but 3 of them are seniors and 1 is a junior. So you need to get some freshmen, right? And so it shows you that. I love that. It shows you kind of here, field general. It shows you what their archetype is of what you have. He's a senior, so he's about to leave. And these are your targets. But like he's targeting a scrambler. Like, is he gonna come here if everybody else on your roster, all your quarterbacks are field generals? That's gonna be interesting. Recruiting hours. I love is you can set and forget. They talk about that. 50 hours per player is the default, but if you get to always be recruiting, you get up to 70. And that's on for that position group, right? We saw the running back position group. Been looking at the recruiting board. There's another screenshot of it. Soft sale, you offer them a scholarship. You've used your points. You got points to use this week, right? Prove yourself. You're 4th on his line. His visit is scheduled week 9. So you hope that he makes it to his visit. You're Michigan. He's New Jersey. Kind of a pipeline, but Penn State looks to have and Notre Dame has a visit scheduled too. So I think what this means is he won't make a decision until after these visits, which is interesting, right? Scouting, you can learn these things. The better scouter you are, better recruiter you are, the more information you'll be able to get. And they said 5 stars are easier to get information on than 2 stars because they play at camps and all that kind of thing. So as you see here, 100% scouted. I know he's an athlete, which I love. I think that's my focus is focus on athletes. But he got catching traffic, short route catching. His awareness is 70, medium route. So he might be a decent receiver, but he'd probably be a really good DB. And he got the natural and team player for mental. I don't know his dev trait or his physical ability. So that's probably something that I don't have an ability there because he's 100% scouted. If I don't have the right coaching ability, I still won't know those, which I think is super dope. So yeah, you got unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. Okay, we talked about that. One thing about recruits, as I'm rolling through these options, all recruits, they come with their physical ability, mental ability stock, and they cannot change. Their trait is whatever it comes with, they cannot change. If they're normal, they're normal. If they're impact, they're impact. If they're elite, they're elite. If they're, I don't know what the 4th one is. That's what they are. It cannot, there's no trait games, there's no breakouts like Madden, there's none of that. So recruiting and getting gems and seeing traits and all that is going to be super important because it's going to determine how fast they get better and how many traits they have. And so all that matters. These are cool. You can DM the friend, DM a player, talk to their mama. You can search their social media. Those are all really cool. You see here, it costs different amount of points. I'm assuming the more points they cost, the better it is for you. We talked through the pitch. Let's see. Hard sell, soft sell. Hard sell is like, hey, you got to go. Like, I got to give the best pitch for this guy. I'm closing the top 3. I really want him. I'm gotta give the best I got. And so you give the best you got there. And then you close them, right? You offer a scholarship and they verbally commit to your school. You see here, you're bringing him in on a visit as you play against, you're Bama playing against FC Southeast. I don't know why you would bring him on that visit, but you are. He's a 4-star safety, right? Let's see what other pictures they got on here. Or you could bring them. Oh, okay. So it's showing you the difference. So if you bring them here, it don't do nothing to move you. Losing will hurt you. But if you bring them to the Auburn game, right, now it'll help you. Losing will hurt you, but it'll help you some. And then they have this, attend position meeting. So what are they going to do when they come on campus? So you have to try to make sure you want to align these pitches to these motivations, right? So that's super cool and super in-depth. You got to do that with every player. And then he got him committed. Yeah, roll tide. All And then you got transfers, how that is showing how that works. I showed you kind of talked earlier. Some are going to the pros, some of them are transferring. All of those things matter. You can talk to them and say, hey, I don't want you to transfer. Or you can tell them, hey, you should go play somewhere else. Like Coach Prom did. I got Louis bags with Louis luggage. Come on, man. You can go play somewhere else because you ain't going to play here. I think that's super dope. So you don't have too many players on your roster because you only get 85 per year. Signing day, it's an early signing day. It's a late signing day. You got him. Woohoo. Quarterback, great job. He's an improviser. That's dope. And then you can see who got the best recruit, how many 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, right? And it goes on from there. So that's super dope. Position changes is fire. After signing day, you can change positions to anything, which I love. Player progression, you see how good they get. Remember, from freshman to sophomore year, they're going to get way better than from sophomore to junior to senior. So that's super, super, super dope in that concern. This is what I'm talking about with development traits. These are set. Whatever they are when you recruit them, that's what they are. The normal, impact, star, elite. So recruiting, getting gyms, getting out guys with the best traits from the jump is going to be very important, but you can't because you cannot develop these. You cannot get players to get those. So you can't take a normal player to elite. He's normal. No matter how good he gets, he's going to be normal for his whole career. Okay? Remember, and you progress with skill groups. So they show here, instead of like a player getting better at stiff arm or a player getting better at trucking, you can make him better as a power. So you can hit power, and that improves all of his power running back stats, right? So I like that. I think that make progression easier, especially as we have so many players and things like that. You can see he has 2 mental abilities, and these are his physicals, right? Which are really cool. 5 physical abilities: brown, silver, gold, and platinum. They went over that on a deep dive. I like that. So these are 5 abilities: shifty, change direction, sidestep is like juke block, take off, quick. Oh, he can play him as a receiver. This might be a receiver. Juke moves, and then fatigue. I like that. That's cool. And then what's this? Oh, and then there's mentals. Headstrong, his hot routes, even if it's loud, he can still hear, which is dope. And then at home, he's going to get increased composure. Okay? Look at this Georgia team. Jesus. Whoo! Yeah. You don't want to play Georgia State. You play Georgia State. Don't put Georgia on your schedule first year, man. Just don't do it. You got wear and tear. You can manage it with practice. Those kind of things. They kind of talk about that a lot on the gameplay deep dive. All of that kind of matters. It's college football playoff. It's 12 teams. You get it. Just what they say, 12 teams is going to be the top 5 teams from each conference. So the 5 winners and the next 12 that are in the next 7 that are ranked here. So it'll be like in this graphic, it would be Ohio State, Bama. I'm trying to say the winner. So let's say Ohio State won, Bama won, Oregon won, and Oklahoma State, right? Well, that's Big 10, 12. And then who would get in after that would be USC, Georgia, Iowa, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Penn State, LSU. So it'll go like that. And like if you're Notre Dame, you're independent, you can never get the bye week. So they did say that, which is interesting. That graphic looks super dope. You get an invitation when you make it. And that's what I said, 5 plus 7. So it's the 5 highest ranked conference champions plus the 7 remaining spots based on their ranking in the polls, okay? So I just went through that. Bowl projections pop up. So they show you what bowl you projected to play in based on how your season is going, which is really cool. And then you can change conferences each year, which you could do that last. You're the conference commissioner. You could reset it. So you have, I want old Big 10, old Big 12. You can bring back divisions, all of that. Super cool customization. Schedules. You make your own schedule. You can't move conference games like it used to be, but you can move all your non-conference games, and it'll show you which games you can pick. So it'll show you who's available to play that day, which I think is cool. It'll show you what would be a nationally televised game. It can show you if you could play there or at home. All of that stuff is available. Only commissioners can change schedules in online leagues. So that's interesting. So you can make it so that guys don't have computer games. So that is helpful in that. Team builder, you can do team builder in the online dynasty. Got to be a private dynasty. 16, you can do up to 16 teams, okay? Red shirts are in there. 4 games, they could be a red shirt, okay? Heisman watch is in there. We get that. We see Ollie Gordon, Shador, Quinshawn Junkins. Oh, he's a running back. Travis Hunter, Carson Beck. That's cool. We get it. All-Americans, of course, they got that. Pride stickers is just a cool little thing that they put in there. And 30 seasons, 32 users, 1 user per school, commissioner to scheduling, all of that. And that's it. 17,000 words, 85 pages. I made it through. I hope you learned something today. It was a long video. I got to run, got to do some coaching. But I'm excited. And tell me what you think. Tell me what team you're thinking about going with. I'm going to pin where I'm thinking as far as like each, if I'm a big school, all the teams I'm thinking about, I'm going to pin them in the comment, and you can tell me what you think. I'll love your feedback. And until next time, man, stream, a like, and turn your notifications on, subscribe. I'll be streaming day one, y'all. You don't want to miss it. I'll have next week, Road to Glory come out. I'm going to have some Road to Glory content. You're going to want to hear it, okay? All right, man, I'm out. This video been long enough. Peace.